Grant, for joining us here today on NewsX World. Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas has called for a firm response from the United States and the international community over Israel's plan to further tighten its control over the occupied West Bank. While in Oslo, Abbas has discussed the issue with Norwegian Prime Minister Johannes Gahr Støre. Abbas has also addressed concerns about Israeli settler violence and Israel's decision to freeze $4 billion meant for the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Israel is already facing international criticism over its new measures regarding West Bank. This includes a decision made by Israel's security cabinet which allows Israelis to directly purchase land from Palestinians in the West Bank. Previously, settlers could only buy homes through registered companies. The new measures also transfer authority for construction in the city of Hebron from the Palestinian Authority to Israel. The European Union has condemned these actions, calling them, quote, another step in the wrong direction. Moreover, Germany has said that Israel's new plans for West shows its intentions for de-factionization of West Bank. We are now being joined by Yossi Kupawasa, who is an Israeli intelligence and security expert, joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. What exactly is Israel's West Bank plan? And is it causing Abbas to demand a strong international response? What is Israel trying to do here?
Well, there are two parts of this question. First of all, thank you for having me. There are two parts of this question. First of all, what is the plan? And secondly, what is behind the Abbas reaction? Well, let's start with the second one. Abbas is against anything that Israel does. It doesn't matter what we do, he's always against it. And so he's not any way to judge whether we are in the right direction or the wrong direction. He's actually the person who finances salaries to the terrorists to carry out terror attacks against us, and then complains that we do not give him money to pay the salaries to the terrorists to kill us. That's very strange, but this is Chairman Abbas, unfortunately. Regarding our policy in the Judea and Samaria areas that you call the West Bank, we are regarding these areas as disputed lands between us and the Palestinians. And we are waiting for the time when we are able to conduct negotiations with the Palestinians about the fate of these territories. This negotiation started with the conclusion of the Oslo agreements. And ever since then, we didn't manage to find a solution. There were all kinds of proposals what to do with them. And we claim that part of them should be a part of Israel in the future, and both for security reasons and for national reasons. And the Palestinians don't want to give up any piece of this disputed land, and they are not ready to reach any agreement that would include the recognition in Israel as a state of the Jewish people. And we are stuck. Unfortunately, we are stuck. And while we are stuck, people live there, and there's a need to make their life more reasonable. And that's the series of decisions that Israel took recently are supposed to make these lives more reasonable. That's exactly the purpose of that, so that people can buy land in order to build housing, and that can enjoy the same conditions as Israeli citizens. Those Israelis that live in these territories will be able to enjoy the same attitude that every Israeli citizen gets, without changing in any way the sovereignty of over the land, without annexing any part of it. This is the last couple of decisions taken.
And how could the US respond? And what would that mean for its role as mediator between Israel and Palestinians?
You are muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Hopefully you can hear me now. How could the US respond, and what would that mean for its role as a mediator between Israel and the Palestinians?
Okay.
I'll ask you again. How could the US respond, and what would that mean for its role as mediator between Israel and Palestinians? Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas has called for a firm response from the United States and the international community over Israel's plan to further tighten its control over the occupied West Bank. While in Oslo, Abbas has discussed the issue with Norwegian Prime Minister Johannes Gahr Støre. Abbas has also addressed concerns about Israeli settler violence and Israel's decision to freeze $4 billion meant for the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Israel is already facing international criticism over its new measures regarding West Bank. This includes a decision made by Israel's Security Cabinet, which allows Israelis to directly purchase land from Palestinians in the West Bank. Previously, settlers could only buy homes through registered companies. The new measures also transfer authority for construction in the city. We are now being joined by Yussi Kapawasa. Thank you for joining us back here, and sorry about the little technical difficulty that happened. How could the US respond, and what would that mean for its role as a mediator between Israel and the Palestinians?
Well, the US has clarified that they are against the idea of Israeli annexation of these territories, and we have no intention to annex these territories. So the move that we have done is merely reflecting our intention to make the life of people living in these territories more reasonable and more like the people living in Israel itself, in the sense of a private capability to own land and to buy new lands for housing and construction. That was the main idea behind it. The territories themselves remain disputed areas between us and the Palestinians. And once there is going to be a Palestinian that is ready, that we shall consider, or that he will consider readiness, consider himself ready to discuss this matter, we shall be able to discuss it. And there were many attempts throughout the years to find a solution. All of them failed. And right now, nobody really expects any progress in this respect. So there is a need to take measures so that the people living there will have the ability to live a reasonable life and to own land that they live in and so on and so forth. This is the steps. These are the steps we have taken, and this is what they reflect. Of course, President Abbas is very upset, but he's upset with everything that we are doing. And he's upset with the fact that we do not give him monies that he will be able to use in order to pay salaries to the terrorists to try to kill us. And nevertheless, he is paying them with the little money he does have. He uses that in order to pay for slayers, we call it. And Israel, of course, has to take measures to clarify that it is not ready to pay people to kill Israelis. That is not going to happen.
Thank you so much, Yusuf, for joining us here today on NewsX.